wish I was on the beach. Cold water. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It is June 25th, 2025. It's a Wednesday night edition, and it's bacon. Not as hot as yesterday, but only like 5 degrees off. Hot day. So I hope you guys are well. Hope everything's good. There's a little bit of news to do tonight. There's a couple of really great topics, though, I'd like to open up to the audience. There's time to chill, relax, and open up topics to the audience. There's two main topics, which I think I might just settle in on, and we can hold the bonus topic off for another night because, it's just a bonus. And we have probably a lot less wiggle room now since I've got somebody joining me to the left. Matt is here tonight. What's going on, Matt?
Hello, Francis.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
You know, when was the last time you've been on this show on a Wednesday evening?
On a Wednesday?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably the old studio.
Probably the old studio.
No, maybe when you first came here.
Well, there was, when we first moved in here in 2015 or whenever the hell it was, you were showing up multiple nights a week. Like whenever you were free, you were just coming by. There was no set. You could have walked through the door any night of the week.
Yeah.
So that was man.
Yeah, I'd come here after I worked out. That's when I started working out, and I turned my flabby self into Rocky IV. And
That's right.
I'm starting to do it again now too.
Good. Hey, so
2 months I'll be looking like Rocky IV again.
So are you? What is it? It's just steak and eggs.
Yeah, steak and eggs and, protein and
Good.
whatever protein I can get. Fat. A lot of
protein.
fat and protein.
Good. That's what you need. I mean, nice, good, a pound of steak a day will do you well. You don't even need to eat much more than that. What is that? You can go to the deli and you can get yourself a nice ribeye for about a pound. It's around $25.
Nah, I could go to Restaurant Depot and get fucking a whole thing of T-bone steaks for like $130-something.
$130-something for how many?
There's a lot. Me and my girl, we bought a thing of ribeye. We bought what else? We bought like 2 different things of steak. It was lasted us for months. We had it every day. Maybe not months. Maybe a month and a half, 2 months. 2 steaks a day.
So under $150?
Nah, well, together it was more than that. Like one thing was like $130, $125, $130.
I would like to know how many are in there and how much they weigh each.
I don't know.
Sounds like a good deal.
It is.
Well, anyway, I'm glad you're back on your protein game and that everything's going well. How is it, working with asphalt on a 105-degree day?
Well, today I didn't do that. I did that yesterday. Was bad because I had to hand tamp everything because the gas tamper, the thing broke. We couldn't start it. But the day before that, I didn't know I was doing the blacktop.
Yeah.
And I took thermogenics before I went to work. Bro, like a fucking waterfall. Dude, my pants, from all sweat up here, my pants were soaked like down to here.
Jeez. Everybody asking if you were peeing? Yo, bro, did you pee yourself? People ask you that?
Well, the guy I was with, he's like, you look like you pissed yourself. I'm like, yo, it's sweat, bro. I took thermogenics. He's like, don't fucking take that shit tomorrow. The foreman, he's like, what's wrong with you? And he kept going after. I thought, what's wrong with you? What, you got bacterial something? He just kept saying shit.
What would, I don't know. Yeah,
I normally sweat like a lot anyway.
I wouldn't take something like that before a hot day being outside doing any of that shit.
I take thermogenics, pre-workout, fat burners.
Dude.
Oh, yeah, I'm wired in the fucking morning, bro.
You just...
Fucking wired.
That's a lot of gear, man.
I should get on gear.
Stop.
That'll be the last step.
Actually, here, how about this? Get on this gear. You want to know what I saw the other day waiting for me? When I woke up, I went into my inbox, and one of the... hey, listen. We've been using the internet for decades now, so we know what spam looks like. But I'd never seen anything like this before in my inbox, and here's what it looked like. The email, let me get you out of the way, The subject line was P muscle. P muscle.
Oh, your prostate?
No, your
right?
prostate is a gland. It's not a muscle.
Doesn't that push out your piss?
Well, no. I mean, you have to. It could put pressure on your urethra. If it's inflamed, it can make it harder for you to pee.
So what pushes your piss out?
What is it? That our Kegels?
Ah, it's your fucking prostate.
Our
Just think about it,
the
dude.
The prostate is a gland.
Every time you poop, you pee, right?
It's a really, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's not the poop is. What does the prostate have to do with poop?
I don't know. It just makes sense.
Hold on. I'm gonna hear. Now we're doing this. Hold on. What function does the prostate serve in urinating? The prostate gland plays a role in urination by surrounding the urethra. There you go. The tube that carries urine from the bladder out of the body. Its primary function related to urination is to act as a muscular structure that could influence the urine flow. Well, muscular structure, it's not a muscle.
The asshole?
No, not the asshole. The prostate. So, I mean, it's describing it almost like the prostate smooth muscle fibers. Okay, I guess you were actually more right than you thought.
I usually am about stuff, even when I don't think. Even when I just start to say things. No,
hold on.
I say things just to say things.
I didn't know this. Hold on. Wait. The smooth muscle fibers relax to allow urine to pass through the urethra freely.
That's why every time you poop, you pee. And
however,
every time you pee, you don't poop.
However, okay, so this is where this is where we're trading off points here. The prostate itself does not directly control the act of urination. That is managed by the bladder and the urethral sphincters.
Sphincter.
Okay? So obviously the prostate plays a role in urination because it can block the whole thing up if it's inflamed.
An inflamed prostate?
An inflamed
prostate. How do you get that? From getting cored out?
Yeah, of course. Hold on a second. You know what? I think you are...
What about anal fissures?
What about anal fissures?
Someone has them.
That's not the real thing. Somebody has them. Hold on a second. Matt, pull that light a little bit closer to you. That one right there. Something's going on.
I like to be in the darkness.
There you go. Okay, well, something's up. I'm way brighter than you are. Maybe that's better. I have no clue.
Yeah, probably. You went to private school.
No, that doesn't mean anything. Trust me. That just means you take less showers because you have nobody to... Everybody,
I take showers every day, Francis.
Yeah, not when you want to hear. You want to smell things you never smelled in your life. Go to high school with a bunch of.
Dude, that's what
high school with a bunch of guys that don't have any girls to impress. They don't give a shit about anything.
You know, my girl is at boot camp right now, and she says whenever they go to take the showers, it's the fucking worst smell she's ever smelled in her life.
Women,
yeah,
in particular.
Just in general, I guess the sweat and, I guess some of them have their own little scents and all that.
Yes, everybody has their own scent.
And then they drill them after they take a shower before bed, so they have to go to bed all sweaty.
That sounds like a nightmare. Out of all the things, that sounds like there's nothing that
they make you appreciate the small things.
Can you imagine getting
like a shower,
being so sweaty and hot, and your room is also just kind of?
I didn't ask her if it's air conditioned, but she likes it. She's doing good.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to imagine myself jumping into a bed in a hot room and already sweating. That's terrible. That's awful. I would hate that. Anyway,
they leave all their tampons and shit on the floor so they get in trouble.
I'm sure.
She doesn't, but the other girls do. You know.
Yeah, you know how they are. Did you hear this NATO chief called Trump daddy today?
He is daddy.
Listen to this. You know what? Let's start the show. We'll be right back.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's
Daddy is how NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte alluded to the U.S. president as the two talked to reporters at The Hague Wednesday as part of the alliance's meeting. The remark came as Trump was explaining how Israel and Iran recently were allowed to fight for a while, like two kids in a schoolyard, before being stopped. Joked Rutte, he said, Daddy has to sometimes use strong language, a reference to Trump's F-bomb earlier this week as he responded to the two nations violating a U.S. brokered ceasefire. Daddy. Can't believe he actually said that. In a later press availability, a reporter asked Trump about the daddy remark, noting, Rutte called you daddy. Do you consider your NATO allies kind of like children? Trump's response clearly cracked up his defense secretary. And, yeah, well, here it is right here. Let's listen to it.
Mark Rutte, the NATO...
Oh, Rutte. I'm sorry. His name is Rutte. I don't know how any of these people's names are pronounced, of course, but here.
Is your friend. He called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that. But do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own?
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning, and I think they'll be able to, and I think they're going to remember this day. And this was a big day for NATO. You know, this was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, you know what? We've been trying to raise the rate for 30 years, he said, 20 years, from almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did is amazing. It's been sort of an amazing day.
So?
Daddy.
Yes, that's happened. That happened today. And then, of course, in New York City, we have this, what's his name?
The socialist?
Mamdani. What the hell is his name again? I saw
Muslim socialist.
Yeah.
We'll just call him the Muslim socialist.
The Muslim socialist.
The Muslim.
The Muslim. No, what did Thomas Jefferson call him? Muslim.
I don't want to say what he probably really called them.
And he was researching them. I mean, he's the one. Jefferson was the president that had to deal with the Barbary pirates.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why everybody's like, you know, it's great. We're gonna get sworn in on Jefferson's Quran and all that stuff. You don't understand that Jefferson had that Quran because it was opposition research. He wanted to understand what our newly formed Marines were getting into when they went into that barbaric part of the world.
Should have finished them off then. Actually, they should have been finished off during the Crusades.
Yeah, well, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, here's what we have. What was this? These are old tweets of Zoran Kwame Mamdani from 2020 that have been going around of all the things that he believes. I don't know if it was part of his platform. I know that he was out there, you know, gallivanting about. He had all the girls from Sex and the City stumping for him because that's what white liberal women do. They advocate for anything that's going to kill them fastest. And then here you have this. Here's what people have dug up. We will support existing decarceral legislation. Okay, this means that anti-policing legislation that will end cash bail, repeal the walking while trans ban, decriminalize sex work, legalize marijuana, permit safe injection sites, restrict solitary confinement, enact elder parole, re-enfranchise incarcerated
elder parole.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that means that if you're
a certain age, you get paroled
just because you're old, no matter what you did. I guess I don't know. These are all just bullet points. Decriminalize simple drug possession, repeal all mandatory minimum sentences, reduce maximum sentences with retroactive effect, repeal felony bump-up statutes, repeal sentencing enhancements, and end cooperation with ICE. What needs to be done so quickly is all of the money going to American cities from the federal government has got to stop. It's got to stop. Everybody wants to act like big tough guys. We're going to take on Donald. You can't take on the White House when you're a beggar state, when you're a beggar city. New York City is a beggar city. You're giving way too much. It's all unconstitutional. I'd love to just see everybody get on with their ridiculousness without any kind of bankrolling. I saw this getting around a little bit more. Here's New York City mayoral candidate's fake accents. Apparently, he was leaning into his Far Eastern accents from time to time, and they were compiled. He was a rap artist. Did you know he was a rapper?
Really? And what's his rapper name?
I don't know. Let's listen.
More than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
A Disney movie directed by his mother?
Maybe she works for Disney.
Nepotism and hard work goes along.
Oh, the Queen of Katwa? What is that? Damn, what the hell is that? I don't even know what the hell that is.
Way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak, this is how I am.
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
It's more than they...
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, there you have it. And this right here was a little bit of what I expected to see at the scene of his victory being announced. This was, I guess, all of his greatest supporters. Yeah. Exactly what I expected to see. A room.
Whenever you need a roof to collapse, it never does.
No, whenever it's the room that is, of course, you just look around, anchored by privileged, frail white socialists. It's always mostly female too, because they took the bait, and worse, once again, it is the rooftop scene from Independence Day. They're all welcoming the aliens, welcoming doom until the last second. Who the hell knows when the last second's going to be? There you go. That was the moment they realized they were wrong.
Like, you see the comparison they showed, like I don't know if they're Iranian, but whatever. The girls, I don't know if they're in a school, whatever. They're taking their hijabs off or whatever after they got bombed or whatever. And then they show the white liberals over here, hands off Iran, hands off Iran. They're the ones they want the regime.
Dude, I don't know. It's just
they don't want to wear a fucking hijab.
They don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know that. Nobody knows anything. That's why with the No Kings thing, it was great to see it be such an embarrassing display, no matter how much it was amped up by the people who were covering it positively. And it's great to see that whatever money is left in their coffers is being spent unwisely, and hopefully, as I was talking with Dilly last night, hopefully we really start seeing some really hard times on them, as we know that the DNC is going through some hard financial times right now. Not that I care very much about the success of the RNC, but I'm just saying, when I see this, again, it's New York City. And New York City is not a conservative town. Is conservatism the issue? Is that at the center of any of the issues that the boroughs are facing right now? And of course, the answer is no. And that right there has trickled down to education, which has taught all of these very sad people in the video, since they were very young, since right after kindergarten, that the only true solution to any problem, real or imagined, is to continue to go farther and farther to the left, to go farther and farther into that mindset of dissolving any kind of remnants of what the world before created, including the cities themselves. The world that they rail against, all of the norms of the past and everything else that they rail against, created the cities that they're inhabiting and claim are their, it's the greatest places on earth, the most cultured places on earth. They created cities like New York. And they used to be, New York City used to be one of many urban examples of what America was. You know, the brains, their brains are missing pieces, whole pieces.
No, just the whole thing. No King's Day.
Pieces that were never installed.
King lets people protest against him.
Well, you saw what they did overseas?
What?
Hold on. I found this. I thought this was so hilarious.
They beat the shit out of him?
No, it was, let me show you. I thought that this was just something else. The No Kings thing, where they want to take it abroad, Democrats abroad. I came across this on Tumblr the other day. Yeah, I still use Tumblr. Democrats abroad. It was one of the, I don't know, maybe last week or the week before, around the time that all of the No Kings thing was wrapping up over here in the United States, around the 14th or so. They started trying to take it across the sea into Europe. And what they published was this on one of their blogs, and they had a few notes before one of these blogs. And here's a key point in one of their blogs. We have changed the No Kings theme of other events around the world to no tyrants, as not to mix messages in a country with a monarchy. So they're saying, they're saying, when we go and we do our little LARPing in Europe and other places where actual kings exist, we're going to call it not No Kings, we're going to call it No Tyrants, because we don't want to offend their kings.
Fucking losers.
Meanwhile, over here, they're going to pretend that Donald Trump has assumed kingship in order to do their little drama club ritual. We're no king. It's just so fucking pathetic.
Fucking losers.
Losers.
Fucking
Absolute
bunch of driveling idiots.
But, you know, look at this, Matt. This is from the Babylon Bee today. Mamdani vows to knock down the World Trade Center to build more affordable housing. Man, that's one hell. They didn't post that to their Instagram for some reason. Only on their Twitter. I think maybe they thought they can get away with it on their Twitter a little bit better. I don't know, but I don't know. When I see all these people in New York City, you know, and I've had your, you know, all day, get out of New York, Frank. Well, what does that mean? That means I'd have to get way out of the entire Northeast, because New York, I mean, this is it's not an island. There's Connecticut, there's New Jersey, there's parts of Pennsylvania. There's safer parts of New York than there are in anywhere.
Different state away from the 95, from I-95.
Yeah,
the further and further away
you got to get away from the interstate highway system. That's the real thing there. But you know, I look at this and I say, well, running. And I understand if you can buy your family a few nice decades of peace and tranquility, because all those people that are jumping up and down in that Mamdani celebration room, those are eventually the ones who more readily pack up the U-Hauls and go to try to find the nice sleepy mountain towns who believe that they're safe from all the shit right now. That's usually what happens. And this is viral. This is viral, and the people who make this so, they don't even understand it, because they can't. There's no other way for these people to even analyze the world. You know, it was burned out of them when they were barely out of diapers, especially when they went to school for the first time and their moms started using them as political props at marches and parades. They can't conceive of any vision for the future that isn't farther to the left. I mean, after all, everything from our Constitution to bird watching is a product of white colonialism, which needs to be completely dissolved. So, I mean, how can you ever see anything any different? But I want to bring this up with everybody, because here is something that is related, but also gives us an opportunity to talk about something else altogether. And listen to this. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Goodbye fancy bar, hello at-home pizza party, young Americans cut back. I have a couple of excerpts from here that I'd really love to get people calling in on. Okay, here you go. In a store and online purchases for 18 to 24-year-olds, they fell 13% year over year between January and April. Okay? The combination of economic challenges is driving the decline. Young grads are having a much tougher time finding jobs. Student loan payments are restarting for millions of borrowers over roughly the past year. Credit card delinquency rates have risen to the highest point since before the pandemic, and the highest for those 18 to 29 years old, according to the New York Federal Reserve. Skip ahead a little bit. Now they're talking about some people, young Americans, who are being featured in this piece. This one girl named Verma. Listen to this. Most of Verma's friends are similarly fearful or part of the rising ranks of the unemployed. They have pulled back paying for meals, streaming subscriptions, and buying new clothes. They've gotten creative about finding low-cost ways to spend time together. One recently threw a make-your-own charm bracelet party. Another hosted a pizza-making dinner. This is interesting right here, and it's part of what I'm going to ask the audience. Far from embarrassing, Verma says trying to save money has become kind of cool. She gets extra compliments when she reveals her manicures aren't the $85 gel sets she used to get done professionally, but rather $20 press-ons from Target. It's the equivalent to saying your dress has pockets, Verma joked. Himanshu Wag, one of Verma's friends, frequents fancy furniture stores for a free place to hang out. Now, I don't know about this one right here, but we sit on the sofas, and when the conversation gets boring, we move to a different sofa, says Wag, a 25-year-old psychiatry resident. We feel rich drinking their free coffee and enjoying this bougie furniture that we can't afford. Well, he and his friends play guess the price of whatever they're sitting on. So it goes on and on. There's one more little highlight here. You get to this point, even though you did everything that you were supposed to, and the system seems stacked against you, said this kid Bowie. And essentially this whole article, I mean, this is what leads so many kids to these young adults that vote for socialists in New York City. If only more of them were starting to properly identify the source of the issues, that'd be great. You know, government spending, regulation, inflation, that it all contributes to. But they can't identify the source because childhood education impairs people in this way. But regardless of how they see the reason why the economy is the way it is, and their social life, and how they used to be able to spend a little bit more freely, and now they've got to put in some forced austerity measures. I think it's one of those silver lining things. We talk about AI, and it's going to get to the point where what can we trust, and what is going to be the fail-safe for situations where we really can't trust so much of what we're seeing and what we're hearing. So what's the fail-safe for that? Retreating back more into real life, being with friends again, family again, just being together, talking to people that you can verify are actually real people that are sitting in front of you. So I guess my question for everybody here is, have you had to go through some sort of austerity measures over the last 5 years? And in times of financial belt tightening, what do you do for fun? I would like to hear from you guys on that. When you got to tighten the belt and you say, all right, you know what? There's something we're saving for, or there's a little bit of a transition we have to move, or there's just some kind of something that happens in your personal life that forces you to reassess your current situation financially. What are some ways and some ideas that you have put forward that you still, that are cheap, easy to do, that's still fun, that you don't feel like you're missing out on life just because you're not, spending money as frivolously as maybe you could have sometime when there's a little bit more of a surplus? I want to know about that, because I know that everybody out there has to have something. You got to have something for me on that. 914-200-0269. In times of financial belt tightening, what do you do for fun? That's got to be something. Matt, what do you do?
I don't care about having fun. I don't.
I'm talking about basic enjoyment. Do you sit more in the back?
I don't enjoy anything. Relaxing.
That's what I'm talking about. Do you sit in the backyard, listen a little bit? Do you listen to the birds? Do you feed the squirrels? I don't know. Let's take a call.
Nah, I feed the crows though.
There you
They
go.
know me. I could tell they know me because they do a certain thing whenever they see me.
443, you're on the air. Do you feed the crows when you're bored?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Okay. So go,
And the doves.
Good. Well, go ahead. Tell us what's up. First of all, what's your name and where are you from?
This is Eric from Maryland.
Nice, Eric. Welcome.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Especially during COVID, a lot of my buddies, we just graduated in college in 2020. So a lot of us lost our jobs and didn't really have anything going on. So we played a lot of board games. I mean, it's kind of boring, but we just get a case of beer and just play 21 or Sorry or anything. I mean, it was fun. It was cheap.
I'm with you. That's it. Now, okay. So 21 or Sorry. Did you do any? Did you do any Monopoly, or was the last thing you wanted to do was think about money during that time?
Oh yeah, I mean everyone kind of just raided their attics and found all the old games that we used to play as kids, and it was a good time.
That is good. Matt, when was the last time you played a board game? Oh, we played Monopoly together.
Yeah, we did. I think a couple months ago, when my nephew played. The fuck is the name of it? Fireball Alley.
Fireball Alley?
Oh yeah, it's a game I had when I was a kid. It's sick. There's like a little skull thing you put on. It has balls. You turn it, and it'll come and roll down and knock you off. And you have to get like these jewels and shit like that. It's a cool game.
Okay,
that's badass.
That does.
Fireball Alley. It's a cool game.
Wait, what was that one? Do you guys remember? Well, Eric's he's a little bit younger than us, but what was that one in the 90s where you're shooting? Like there's like a spinning top. What is it? Crossfire? Was it called Crossfire?
Oh, damn. I think I'm...
Hold on, wait. Crossfire board game.
Sounds like you're about to conjure up something.
I think so. Hey, Eric, thank you for the call, man. Is there anything else you want to leave anybody with?
Hey, yeah, one last quick question. Did you watch the end of that Yankees game yesterday?
Oh, God. Please.
Dude, I'm a Reds fan, and when that wild pitch, I thought we were done.
Listen. I knew that you weren't done because the Yankees are in one of those traditional phases that always happens during the summer. And you know what? I always say, I hope they stay down in the basement because to hell with them playing like this. But I knew. I said, oh, okay, well, the Reds are not out. This is just one of those things where, if they were to have brought that back to the 11th or the 12th or something, the only way that the Yankees would have scored again is if they had another 3 wild pitches coming their way. They can't help themselves right now. You'll probably sweep them tonight, and good, because they deserve it.
Hey, Rodon looked good, though.
Yeah, he did. But guess what? Again, we have a doofus for a manager who took him out after 88 pitches when he could have gone... I can't. Sometimes you want to sit down and watch 2 or 3 innings just to relax after you're spending the whole day talking about war and everything else, and then you see retardation. Anyway, did you just feel like a wave of heat come into this room?
Nah, I actually cooled down. I'm thinking to myself jumping in like, iceberg type water, like, so I kind of cooled down.
I got to think cool.
Yeah, it works.
It is okay. It's Crossfire. Here it is. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, I remember that.
I found the commercial. Hold on.
It's sometime in the future. The ultimate challenge. Crossfire. Crossfire.
Crossfire. Here comes big finish.
You'll get caught.
Yeah, fuck you, kid.
I wonder whatever happened to that guy, the voice guy that does the commercials. You don't hear him no more. You don't do any more commercials, right? He used to do everything. That fucking same voice.
You know what it is? I feel like there's no more toy commercials. I know that there are. If you go, because I've seen it in the last couple of years. If Aurora was watching something with my mother, there would be toy. I would say, oh wow, I haven't seen a toy commercial in a long time. Like, hey, here's a certain action figure, and here's what they do, and kids are playing with it and all that stuff. But I just feel like this shit doesn't happen anymore. It's not nearly as cool. They don't put that much cheese into it, that's for sure. That last big skit, Crossfire. Anthony should reproduce this entire commercial. In fact, hold on. Hold on. Anthony, you know what you got to do? You have to take old toy commercials. Like go and look up the full commercial for that Crossfire board game from the 90s. And you should put out a compilation of all different commercials for old games and stuff from the 90s. But you recreate it. I think you can cover the Crossfire scream fine. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. So if that actually happens, it'll have been born on this show. Okay, let's see. What do you do? What do you do for fun when you got to tighten the belt a little bit? You say, we're not going to go out there and there. We're going to do something even simpler. We're going to create memories a different way. We're going to chill. I don't know. What are we going to do? We're going to look for dead deer carcasses and hang them from trees and box like Matt does. Matt doesn't need a gym. He doesn't need a boxing gym. He just needs some roadkill.
My uncle was a professional. So was your grandfather.
Golden Gloves.
Mine too, in Connecticut twice.
Great grandfather.
And he was a sparring partner of Rocky Graziano. And Rocky Graziano didn't spar. When he sparred, it was a fight. It was a real fight.
I told you that Rocky Marciano's brother.
His brother lived over here.
He's probably dead. I have to imagine he's dead at this point. Because when I met him
20 years ago, he was sitting outside of the park every day. He was already old.
He was sitting down. It was probably around 2000, maybe 13, 14, something like that. His name is Lou Marciano. And I was going up to the park to use the outdoor batting cage just as part of my workouts. You know, when I was coaching Little League back then, I said, okay, well, I've got the key to the outside batting cage. I'm just going to go up there earlier on in the afternoon, and I'll take 100 swings from the left side, from the right side. I taught myself how to bat lefty, just so that I can keep it even or whatever. And as I'm walking up there, I see these two guys that were sitting down. It was Lou, and it was this other guy. I think his name was Frank, to be honest. And he called me over. And he asked me what position I played because I had my bat with me. He says, "You kind of have like a baseball build." I said, "Well, I don't play baseball. I coach youth baseball over here, but I'm more of a musician type. But I played baseball years ago." And he started talking about him playing in the minor leagues for in the Yankee system. He was in the Yankees. He never made it up to the big show. But the guy next to he never really told me. He said his name was Lou. And we're talking. The guy next to him was like, "You know who this is?" I said, "His name's Lou." He said, "This is Lou Marciano. You know that Rocky's brother." I said, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah." He's talking, and so I got to talk to him about his brother and actually how Rocky was probably better at baseball than he was. He was telling me,
and he's a pretty great fucking boxer.
I wanted him to come on the show so bad. And he had to decline because at the time he said that he was working with ESPN, had gotten in touch with him, and they were doing something about his brother that led up to his dad. I think he died in a plane crash, right?
Yeah, I think he was a pilot. He flew himself.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he was very stingy, not stingy, but he Joe Louis went. It's in the movie. You ever see the movie? Joe Louis went broke, so he always thought he was gonna go broke. So he's very stingy. So I think he bought his own little plane, and he would fly himself from place to place. For whatever fucking events.
Well, I ran into him at least a half a dozen times, and we always talked, and he always waved me over and stuff, and that was nice. I was trying to get him to come to the studio. But he always demurred because he didn't know whether or not he can talk until whatever he was working out with ESPN was done. But I don't think anything ever came out. I never saw anything, but that was so long ago. And I don't know, you just know how life is. But, anyway, he was a cool guy. And that was a nice little side quest. Oh, there's Lou Marciano again. Let's go talk to him. Anyway. All right, let's see here. Jay Britt says, "Holy cow, Matt on a Wednesday." Yes, indeed. Here he is. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. And over on quitefrankly.tv, Stacks, thank you. Porpoiseful says hello. Safety Net says, "Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do?" Matt, you have been with us all in thought and heart. One love, Lynn. There you go. People
Thank you.
Well, here he is. You know,
I'm here.
on the weeks that we have Fridays off, I always tell Matt, hey, listen, you want to come in here, there, the other day, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
On the nights, I'm glad he's here. It's a good time. All right, what else we have? Okay, so you know what? With that, you can still call in with belt tightening. What do you do for fun? Do you spend a little bit more time down by the lake? Are you fishing a little bit more? Whatever the hell it is. Do you whittle? Are you on a rocking chair with some sweet tea on your front porch, whittling a nice hunk of wood down into the shape of, an elephant or some other zoo animal? I want to know what the hell you do. Let me know what that craft is. But, since we're talking about the Marcianos and we're talking about this, that, the other thing, and of course, the weakness we see in some aspects of society and whether or not we're going to be moving up again and taking control of the reins, I got something for you, Matt, that you guys can call in on as well, and we'll do this into the second half. And this was a comment that I saw passed around a number of places, but Milo Yiannopoulos passed it around today.
Milo Yiannopoulos.
I know he's been around again.
Since when?
I don't know.
I think he tried to do a comeback in 2001, 20 or something, or before that, and no one likes him anymore.
I've seen him like on Tim Pool and stuff like that, and I don't know. Sometimes with Kanye West, is that right? I forget the hell. Nick Fuentes. I don't know what the hell it is. But either way, I saw this retweeted into my dash, and I said, I'm going to take this for the show, because whether or not this comment is real, it's something that's worthy of discussing, because it's about America and supposedly somebody's, a Russian comment from a Russian friend in a Telegram chat. It says this: there was a time when America, even as an adversary, so he's speaking as a Russian, there was a time when America, even as an adversary, commanded a certain respect. The imagery was iconic: cowboys with cigarettes, muscle cars roaring across desert highways, loud rock music, leather jackets, swagger. It had a brutal charm. Even when we stood against it, it felt like standing against something real. It made us want to work harder, think harder, build stronger, but the opponent was worthy. But what is there now? A country of people waddling through supermarkets in pajamas, glued to phones, addicted to sugar, distracted, anxious, medicated. This is what won the Cold War. What's frustrating is that it's not even interesting anymore. There's no thrill in it. There is always a strong image of the Russian badass, the kind that lived in the Western imagination as much as it is as in our own. The Ushanka pulled low, the surly expression like winter frost, a bear of a man with eyes that held both exhaustion and unshakable humor, grim but full of quiet mirth, someone who could handle a shotgun and launch a nuclear missile, but we also had your vision of the badass to measure ourselves against, the American ideal, built like a tank, in a tailored suit or carrying an M60 like Rambo, or one of those glossy, impossibly competent TV lawyers with a Harvard degree and a black belt. It was a vision of power with style, calm, collected competence with charm, a challenge worth rising to. But modern Americans don't seem dangerous or driven or even fun. They talk about freedom but live in algorithms. They used to be bold, chaotic, ambitious. Now they seem soft, tired, scared of discomfort. And yet we still like the idea of America. Russians love the aesthetic, the Texan or Arizona cowboy, the open road, the loud guitars, the guns and eagles and Zippos and Bibles and blue jeans. We wear it, we watch it, we sing along with it, but the myth is fading. What we see now is a parody of what we used to admire. Even your protests feel fake, like performance art for clicks. And maybe the worst part is the disappointment. Not in you, but in ourselves. We didn't lose to a heroic rival. We didn't lose to something bigger or nobler. We lost to the spreadsheet, to empty convenience, to people who don't know how to change a tire or sharpen a knife. It's like we trained for a duel and arrived to find the other guy asleep on the couch, eating cold fast food. It wasn't supposed to go like this, and it sometimes almost feels like we wake up to it angry. I can't quite call this this resentment even. Is that it? resentiment. It's not resentment. I don't know the English name for the emotions aside from disappointment, but this isn't quite it. Doesn't know the English name for any emotion. So this is why I think this is a LARP as far as it coming from a Russian. It's written very eloquently, but at the end there, it didn't have an English name for an emotion besides disappointment. But regardless who wrote it, I think there's a lot to be said here. Now, what do you think about that, Matt? Here's some comments that I thought were kind of hit on the spectrum. This one guy, Martin, said, making America great again doesn't happen with some economic policy or deporting all the Mexicans. It happens when you make yourself great again. We must revive the cowboy, the frontiersman, the builder, the American badass. America will be great again when her people are great again. I can understand that. But then again, even with that, where's the frontier these days? And as far as,
the LGBTQ, that's where
it's the frontier of the mind. It's largely a fictitious frontier because they just think that we there's no more land to conquer over here, though there's plenty to build. That's the other thing. As far as the frontier goes, I don't know. There's a lot of open land. There's a lot of things still to discover and find out even right here. But you think about all the red tape and all the regulation and everything that stands in the way of somebody to go out there and build freely and do one thing or another. We largely suppressed. An economic policy is not going to make people great again just in itself, but it is a green light. People think about the cost just to go out there and get an idea brought to market. And we're talking about just for licenses, going out there and putting the time in, the research in, creating a prototype or whatever the hell it is, that does not dissuade people nearly as much as having to deal with asking for permission to go out there and do something for yourself. You know that you just started a business for yourself recently.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying.
So I'm talking about. So yeah, I understand that much. You can call in on this too. Here's another one. America is still that. It's just polluted by a lot of noise. 30 plus years of celebrating mediocrity. Meanwhile, American skateboarders shred harder than ever before. Bands like Minus the Bear have made several amazing albums. Fitness and Make America Healthy Again are making a comeback.
That'd be great.
That is true. I mean, there's a lot of things happening in fitness and health as long as the a place is cleared for people to go out there and buck the system. I think there's plenty of people who are willing to put that effort in. We know many of them, Jay Gulanello included. Let's see here. Here's another one. This one I thought was really interesting. And again, we'll read through this. We'll go on a break and hopefully people pick up their phones and call in and talk with Matt and I in the second half. The astronaut says this: the media changed, and that's all.
Yeah, definitely.
The propaganda turned inward. Okay, this is interesting because you think about Cold War propaganda turning outward and trying to, tell the rest of the world that there's no stopping us and we're big and we've got the Ford Mustangs and we've got everything else going for us and we've got the rockets and we've got all the bodybuilding going on over here. We got Venice Beach and this is shit like that. We're virile. We're having children. Whatever the hell it is, we've got Ronald Reagan. The propaganda turn inward now. This America still exists, and if you don't see it, you're too close to a major metro area. Yeah. Tell your friend to come talk some Telegram shit in the Mountain West, and I love that.
That's what you were just saying before. Get away from the cities.
I mean, I love that. It's someone that says, bingo, the real America is still alive and well. You just need to know where to look. Well, you don't have to go searching for it, but I understand that what has done, depending on where you're living and who's running the show, part of running that show is the projection of power and the projection of a certain amount of mandate to change things and to tinker with all of our lives in every way, shape possible. So I really like this take right here because, yeah, and that media, yeah, the changing of the media is not an insignificant thing, and it doesn't make negative impacts and doesn't actually change people and their behaviors and their outlooks as well. We can go real deep into that, down that rabbit hole, but still, Here, let's take one call before we go to break. This is from Jules. What's going on, Jules? It's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling.
Nothing much is going on. I'm following the show, and I was listening to how you said that Matt had just started a business. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
And I was going to say, look at Chewy.com. Have you ever heard of that?
Is that all the pet food and stuff?
Yeah. Yes. But do you know it was brought about, or this is what I was told, don't know how true it was, but one of their representatives once said it was two young men. One of the guys had a mother who was always complaining about, I had to drive to this grocery store. They didn't have it. I looked for it at Walmart. They didn't have it. And Chewy is a huge operation now because the guy saw his mom going through it. And I do believe that the two boys, I'm calling them boys, I'm in my 60s, but they sold the company already, made like millions, walked away.
Well, that's where Anthony gets all of his stuff for Chewy,
Chewy,
yeah.
That's a big company,
Yep.
yeah.
That's how I know about it, because those boxes would show up here at the studio.
Yes, I love it. I love it because for years I knew exactly what the girl was talking about. You'd drive to, Giant, Food Lion, Walmart, Target, and it would be just like, well, where is this food? And Chewy has, I think I've been using them about 10 years now. Excellent. Just, you don't even have to think about it. You're like, oh, I mean, sometimes they are out of stuff, like especially during the COVID stuff. But I was just going to, offer that up as an example for Matt to stick with it. It will pay off. He will get there. And just to give you guys a big rah-rah.
Well, see, I appreciate that. And I agree 100%. I think Matt's going to do well if he just sticks to it.
Yeah,
so,
he will.
All right.
He'll go far. Okay, well, you guys have a good night.
Thank you, Jules. It's great to hear from you.
Same. Bye-bye now.
Take care. Matt, that reminds me. You know what I got? I got an email not too long ago.
Yeah.
It was around the first week in June from a girl named Melanie, and she is out there in Tennessee. And Melanie said this to me. She said, Frank, we need Matt in Tennessee. Someone rolled the Jenga dice down here. No, not Jenga, Jumanji, she meant. The Jumanji dice down here in Tennessee. The bear was hit by a car, unfortunately, just the other day. So there was a black bear that was on the loose.
There was one around here recently, within the last few weeks.
The one that was shot?
Yeah, that's it. That's
okay.
Right.
You know who shot it?
Who?
My cousin.
Oh shit! Did he really?
He's the one in the news. He's the cop in the news.
I'm sure he didn't make the call.
No, but he's in all of it. When all of the news about the bear started going around, somebody sent it to me, said, hey, there was a bear that was shot, somewhere in Westchester. They called the cops in there to do it. I went and I clicked on the page.
His name?
It said his name. He's standing there smiling with the rifle. He's standing there smiling with the rifle. Because, that branch of the family is all bear hunters.
Okay.
Everybody. So they probably said, call Brian in, because he goes up with all my older cousins to Canada and upstate New York, at least. I think probably.
Did you talk to him about it?
Oh yeah.
How close was he? How close did he get?
I don't know. It wasn't that big, the thing.
Oh,
but he was told to take it out, and of course everybody's like, they should be, punished for this. And I say, well, I don't know. Maybe there's other ways of stopping this thing. The order came down and whatever. And you can say what about cops being trigger happy with people, with people's dogs especially. There's like a statistic about cops and dogs. But
there was in Rye Brook a few years ago. Remember, there was one loose in Rye Brook. It was walking through the graveyard. Dude, they followed it until I think it left and went into Harrison and disappeared.
Well, the bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. So I don't know what if who freaked out, whatever. But all I do know is that the same people who are like, stop, they need to be punished for this, are the same ones who are like, why don't they put down these coyotes? Every time a coyote shows up once a year, a coyote walks through somebody's neighborhood, within the 2 mile radius, People are screaming, saying, why aren't the cops doing anything? Our children are playing in the backyard. A bear starts walking around. Now you say, well, listen, coyotes are a lot more prone to picking up a small child than a bear is going to maul some. I don't know. They're wild animals.
I mean, I think coyotes, they live close to humans. That's probably what, And plus, like, people, this and that, during those, what was it, 2 years of COVID or whatever, however long it was, when there was no traffic on the road, animals weren't getting hit by cars. The populations are fine.
Yeah.
There's more fucking animals around now than there's ever been.
There's a lot of animals out there. But anyway, there's a black bear here. Apparently, it got, it was hit by a car. I think that just took care of that. That was in Tennessee. But then there was something else here. There was a zebra 2 weeks ago in Tennessee that this girl, Melanie, wrote in about. And here is a little bit of the story on that. There's breaking. There's a zebra is alive and well and was spotted today here in Tennessee in Rutherford County. I have confirmed that there was a sighting today in Rutherford, Tennessee, of Ed, the missing zebra. That's his name, Ed.
Ed.
Hold on. Let me put this over here.
You ever watch Mr. Ed?
Oh, yes. Indeed, I have. Here, look. This is a previous photo from the weekend. It's great news. Ed has become something of a celebrity with people following the story across the country. There had been no sightings of the zebra, which escaped on Saturday for the past 4 days. This raised concerns that something bad had happened to Ed. But he's still active and roaming. Professional trackers are now out in specific area where he was just spotted on a trail camera and will be searching overnight and into the morning, hoping to corral the zebra. Now, I don't know if they got him. I mean, we can check up on that while we're in intermission.
I could find him.
I was just going to say.
I would wait till he's in that high grass like that, and I'd sneak up on him. Dude, I did that to a coyote. I snuck up on a coyote. I got probably to where that sign is on the thing. I was behind a bush. I looked up. I got that close to him, crawling to him real slowly.
And then you jumped on him?
Nah. I probably would have. But when I looked up, he saw me. But I got that close.
Lauren said that
I chased down a what was it? Was it a bobcat? I chased a bobcat. I would have jumped on that.
See, so you would have jumped on a bobcat?
Yeah.
I would have
fuck a bobcat up, bro.
I know.
I'll fuck a bobcat up.
Just.
Nah, you get them and pull their arms apart real hard.
I thought that's what you do with dogs. Dog-like creatures.
Do it with that too.
I don't know.
I would just I would choke the shit out of it.
Dude, cats, cats can reach out, like they've got the shoulders to be able to open up and spread out and come in, east to west on you.
If you do it far enough, it'll crack it.
Yeah, well, if you do it far enough. But that means you have to.
I'll fuck that shit up. I can just grab it by its leg, just open it and have it. I'll drop down with it and it'll land on my knee and I'll catch it in the jaw with my knee.
Let me ask you something.
Like a knee drop kind of fucking maneuver or some shit.
September for the Quite Frankly social event. Would you be willing on the main event on September 6th with a fictional animal? Would you do several demonstrations on how you would take them out on, like, if you go on the stage at Garcia's or something? Would you show people how you would take care of the bobcat, a wolf, things like that?
Yeah, maybe.
That would be awesome. It would only be, very small, just so everybody knows that they in Westchester, there's a chance that
I've been forced to slaughter many animals.
I know, mostly mice though.
Bigger things than that.
If you had to stack up.
Sometimes I had to. I had no choice.
I understand. If you're dealing with rabid animals or things that are like very badly hurt, I understand the situation you've been in. I know you don't take pride in it. Sometimes you've gotten creative with the way, some of the mice that you trapped. I remember you having to finish one off with that giant sword we had, and the sword just was not. I guess it just.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember?
Giant sword.
It was the gigantic sword that Phil brought over
What did I do to the mouse with it?
It was already. I think it's already in the trap. I don't know if it was totally dead yet, but you tried to finish it off, but the sword was just too dull.
I don't remember that.
I don't know. It was like a one.
I remember pulling up to the field over there and then punching the shit out of the deer that one time.
Well, we were watching a lot of Game of Thrones at the time, so you were going through your Ned Stark. You were going through your Ned Stark phase, Nedward Stark. You were going through your Ned Stark phase, so you wanted to cut the head off of anything with a great sword. He who passes the sentence should swing the sword. That whole thing. Anyway, so I was going to ask, how would you have responded to this call in Tennessee? Which, by the way, Lauren just got in touch with me and said they did catch the zebra. She was able to see the footage of him being airlifted back into his pen at the zoo. So if they called you up in Tennessee and said, listen, Matt, we know that you've got a very special set of skills. We got a zebra on the loose. Here is the general vicinity. What are you doing to stake him out? And how are you going to go about actually getting him? It's going to be lasso?
Well,
lasso?
He's more of like a savanna type area, so he's going to look for an open place. So I have to find somewhere I can get high and look. First you always go high and look. And then, I'll fucking sniff them out and find them. I always fucking find the animals.
Okay,
after fucking 19 years, bro, I learned how to track shit.
Because you've never done a zebra before, what would you do to first get the scent in your nose? Like, would you go smell another zebra first, or would you go to his pen to smell where he used to sleep?
I don't know how smelly they are, but you'd have to go you don't know where down one is as far as they are, but I don't think they probably smell like shit, but they probably have some type of fucking weird smell to them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Would you first go try to acquire that scent so you know what you're tracking?
Nah, I would know the difference. I would know this is an animal I've never smelt before, so that's why I would zero in on that. I'll find that fucker. Oh, they already found him.
They found him. But if he gets out again, he's screwed. Anyway, we're going to come back in just a second. It's intermission time, and when we return, we're going to your super chats. Please support the show tonight. That's a great way of sponsoring the show this evening, and I'd love to do that. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to pause here for a moment to say, for a second out of this 2-hour broadcast, to urge you to subscribe to wherever you're watching this show at 7 p.m. If you're watching it on YouTube or on Rumble or wherever, subscribe to that channel and make sure that you have notifications on so that you never miss anything. That's number one. That's just a click. And also, please consider becoming an active sponsor for the month of July. Members-only content is it's very plentiful. It's amazing, but it's soon to expand again, going into music and all that. And as always, Lauren and I will send you a nice, all new sponsors get welcome envelopes sent right to your house, as well as Keto Brainz sent right to you from Molly. And when you provide me with a phone number, I actually even call you and welcome you aboard. It's nice. That's quitefrankly.tv/sponsor. All of your options are right there. The Patreon, the Subscribe Star. We'll be right back. Thank you so much. It's going to more fun after this. My oh my.
Hi oh my?
Pie oh my. Pie oh my. Stove Stube, thank you so much. Quite frankly, superchat.com. It's wonderful to have your support tonight. It's Thank you again. Thank you again to Jay Britz. Let's see. What do we have here? Over on Rumble, Jay Semo says, great show. Nice to see Matt. I agree. I agree. Hey, would you blow me? Says Matt for mayor, damn it. Look at the bright side. You could be stoned to the bone every day and not do worse than the last few fucks. You're right. You're right.
Well, I'm not stoned every day now anymore.
No, I know.
I used to be.
I know.
I think that also helps with tracking animals.
Being stoned?
Yes.
Why do you think it is? Because you can become them more?
Because you like sink into yourself and like, you know, your hearing becomes a little sharper. You see colors more.
I start hearing things that never happened.
There's colors around right now we can't fucking see.
You're right. It's including our aura. That's it.
What color is my aura?
I can't see shit.
I thought you were going to say black, but all right.
No, I don't know. No, you have a black cloud following you around. Amber is the color of your energy. Anyway, let's see here. Revolution says, hey, good to see you, Matt McCat. On a Wednesday, nonetheless. Francis, so sorry to see you're suffering from liver failure. I know. I don't.
What's wrong with your liver?
No, for some reason, there was just a pale. Hold on a second. Is it when we go split screen? There was a yellow, very, very hard yellow.
Oh, you're
tint.
all jaundiced?
Jaundiced. Yeah. I don't know what the hell that was all about, to be honest. Wait a second. You know what's funny?
What?
You know who just texted me? KJ.
Oh, yeah?
From the pizzeria.
Yeah.
You know why this is funny?
Why?
Because I had to play something that Mike sent me. I had to play something for you that Mike sent me about KJ. And I was actually thinking about calling KJ live. I was thinking about calling him live on the air. He just said, I hear your intermission music in my head when the morons and... Never mind. I'm going to say that. But...
say a word that rhymes with it and then just continue reading.
No, never mind. But this is crazy. Because Mike... Well, speaking of, let me just play you something. Are you ready for this? And then hopefully we'll get some people to call in on tonight's topics, because I think the topics are actually really good. Here you go. I had opened up the voicemails. Anybody who wants to send voicemails in for tonight, it's going to be open lines. We have some good topics that are coming in. And then I got 3 that came in. I said, oh, shit. And you're going to realize real quick what the hell I'm dealing with. Here's the first one. This is from Mr. Fidelio. Listen to this.
Hello, I'd like to speak to Frank. Frank, this message is for you and you only. I want to tell you a little story. One day, I was walking by a tree.
Okay? That's the first message that was left to me. Here I'm thinking, wow, the audience is really stepping up tonight. Here's the second message. This is from Mr. Halliburton.
Okay.
And then I got to play the Frankie and Louis thing. Hold on. The second message.
Hello, Frank. This is Major Tookish. We're at war. Get the fuck out. Get out now. Get out now.
So we're at war. That's great. So this is wonderful. And what's his last one? His last one.
Frank, listen to me. I don't have much time. I've been thinking. The world has to come to an end soon. I just hope everybody's ready. Ready for the moment. The moment where the Muslims, the Jews, and the Iranians all meet up at one spot.
That's
I gotta go. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. That's it. They're all going to meet up at one. He doesn't even say anything. The Muslims, the Jews, and the Iranians are going to meet up in one spot. That's going to be the end of it all. It's just their presence alone was going to trigger Armageddon.
Yeah,
now,
they're going to end up looking at Jesus, and he's going to be like, nope.
All right, so you remember the Frankie and Louise song that he wrote for our friend KJ and his wonderful pizzeria? And I hope everybody that comes into town for the September event goes in and has a nice dinner, a meal, one of those nights, or a lunch at Frankie and Louise. So they can see the majesty there. You remember the video?
I think so. Yeah.
You do? Where it starts off pretty nice, and then at the end he starts talking about the glory hole.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, apparently, and I don't know how I must have missed this. Then again, I don't watch the Rogan Experience, but apparently Joe Rogan knows about Frankie and Louise and commented about. Yeah, you have to hear
song?
this. No, about the pizzeria. I guess he ate there.
Just send him the song.
Well, here, listen to this. This was crazy to hear.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Rogan. Thanks for tuning in. I got to bring something up. I've been hearing a lot about a pizza place located in Port Chester. Supposedly they have a hidden glory hole oven room. The owner, KJ, is a one-man show when it comes to gagging you the fuck out, and I hear the code word is ask for the garlic balls. I may have to go check it out. I love me a good gag job right after I smoke weed.
I love how what is the code? The code word is ask for the garlic. No. It would make sense if the code word was I'll have the garlic balls, but the code word is ask for the garlic balls. Hi, I'd like to ask about the garlic balls here. Oh, okay. So Joe Rogan knows all about the pizzeria. That's good. I don't know. Listen, viral organic marketing. I can't believe that he actually just texted me.
Joe Rogan?
No. KJ. So, I don't know the last time he texted me in the middle of a show. I just happened to be now when Joe Rogan said something about him. He's probably just high on all of the attention he got in the media from that. Golden Crisp says, let's see here. I'll catch you tomorrow morning for my ride to work. Have a great evening. Love you, Matt. That's from Golden Crisp.
Good night.
And Squickly says, you both are glowing. Why is that?
It's our aura.
Hopefully it's nothing bad. 914-200-0269. Listen, it's a Wednesday night. We're all together as if it's Friday. Give us a buzz. I'd love to hear from you. What do we else? So we had that thing about the American rebel spirit. That's the question I want to ask you guys. Do you believe it's dead or dormant? Or in some way have we had our eyes averted from it? Or are we simply in one of those phases that has been made very famous these days? The weak men create hard times and hard times create strong men. That whole thing. Is it just that we are in that phase in the life cycle of a civilization? Or is it the Smith Modernization Act on steroids? I don't know. So I'd like to hear about that. There's also, what do you do for fun whenever you have to tighten your belt economically? That's good. A little bit more time in the backyard. Here's one for you. I thought that this was hilarious. So AI strikes again, Matt, with this. Look at this. This is this was sent to me recently. They're all protesting in the streets. And this is exactly, I thought you would like this one.
Can I ask why you're out here protesting today?
Because someone's got to lie to the Hispanics to make them think the Republicans are the bad guys.
Why are you out here today?
As a liberal, we have to make the world think we're caring people. Editing.
What made you decide to come out here today?
I gave up my job to protest full time, so poor people don't have to.
What's the main goal of today's protest?
We're here for unity, so if you don't agree, get the fuck out.
What exactly are you protesting today?
I don't know the issue, but I stand in solidarity with whatever's trending right now.
What's your goal being out here today?
These people don't vote unless you scare them. That's why we show up.
I major in social justice, so I know what's best for communities I've never lived in.
Why are you out here protesting today?
Because people of color need strong white allies like me to fight their battles for them.
because someone's got to rile up this community into thinking the right's the bad guys.
Sir, can I?
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how that's getting?
You thought sounds like shit they would say.
Well, yeah, I like that.
Unity. So get the. This is a place of welcoming, and you should just get out.
This is a place of welcoming and something else, and you should just get out of here. Here's another one from the Babylon Bee I thought you would like. Anderson Cooper reports, CNN, Hiroshima barely set back by atomic bomb. Got a lot of that over the last couple of days.
Hey, they caught up quick, though.
Who?
The Japanese.
Yeah, they did.
We helped them.
Yes,
That's
they
why
did.
They love us now. We're their daddy.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Appreciate.
Somebody called in before about Eric called in before. He's a Cincinnati Reds fan. He was asking about the game last night. Here is this was just sent to me, and it's hilarious. This is Aaron Judge after the game last night. I approve of AI being used in this way. I really do. Listen to this, Matt.
I need that little brain dead clown, Aaron Boone, to please pack his bags and get the hell out of this team before I give him these hands. Just a horrible manager with the brain size of an ant. Takes out our starting pitcher, who was pitching a shutout with 88 pitches, and then keeps Mark Leader in the game for 2 innings when we have the lead in extras. Someone please study this moron's brain because I'm about to crash out.
Aaron, as bad as your manager is, you popped out with bases loaded and showed everyone your unclutched gene once again. And I placed a live trade on Kelshi when you were up 3-0 and you sold my trade, you little trash can. Go buy yourself a clutch gene before we throw hands.
Yeah, everyone already knows it doesn't get worse than me when it comes to choking when it matters most. I thought it was October already, so that's why I turned on my unclutched gene for this game.
I see. Listen. I still think it's hilarious.
That is pretty
It's awesome to hear people be made to say this stuff. That even in my moments of anger watching a losing baseball, this is all the stuff I say in a moment of anger. Then I say, okay, relax. But it's cathartic to watch this. This, for some reason, is so hilarious to me. Matt, it's a single frame. It's a crying girl. She's looking into the camera crying. And her text overlay says, he didn't just break up with me. He video called me with his new girlfriend, and she farted, and they laughed, saying, it's me who farted. What? Posts like this, I can't tell you how many times stupid posts like that completely change my night around.
Yeah.
If I'm having like a frustrating night, seeing that right there,
who the fuck thinks of that?
Exactly. I'm so happy. And if it's real, can you imagine that? Think about that. Like be the guy. You just dumped your girlfriend. You have a new girl already, and you actually say, "Hey, yo, let's call my ex," and you fart, and then we're gonna say, "Yo, why'd you fart?" and blame it on her. If that actually happened, so many things, they say nothing's new under the sun. I wonder if that's actually happened.
Probably has. Probably happens a few times a year.
If that's ever happened to you, please call in. Please call in. That's in the FaceTime era. So, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. 914-200-0269. We've talked about the prostate gland tonight and its role in the urination process. We've talked about whether or not the United States rebel spirit is gone. Is it coming back? Did it never leave? I want to hear about it. 914-200-0269. And if not, we're going to have an early night again, Matt. So, with that being put out of the way, thanks again, Homegoys, to Smith Munt combined with Citizen United and OG Patriot Act. That is one hell of a way to kill your garden. No, it's true. That's one hell of a way to kill your garden. Pablo Wenscabar says penis fart. Whatever the hell that means. Do you know what that means?
Butthole queef?
I don't know. Mimi says, Frank and Matt, have you ever noticed how much our governor looks like Milton Berle? Yes. And I've also said...
Who fuck is Milton Berle?
You remember the comedian? Hold on. I mean, he's our grandparents' generation. Milton Berle.
I'm picturing George Burns. I can't picture.
Well, I mean, they were all. Here, you remember?
Oh yeah, all right, yeah, Milton Berle.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. If you put a wig on and some really bad makeup, her makeup is getting worse and worse. Have you seen Kathy Hochul lately?
No.
She's got like Nancy Pelosi eyebrows. Something's going on. I think they're getting painted on or something like that. One was really so much higher than the other. I don't know. It's just like mortician paint, the rouge, all that other stuff. She can't speak very properly because she's fighting with all those teeth in her mouth. I actually think she looks like Nosferatu with a wig. You look at Nosferatu. He's a bald vampire. She just has a wig on. There's that. There's the beaver. I don't know. There's just there's too much to be said about this. All right, let's take a call. 479, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up? This is Mr. Mission Control.
What's going on, Mr. Mission Control? Welcome to the show. We had several topics on the table tonight. What are you going to comment on?
Rebels and frequency.
Okay.
So all the rebels, we're all back home taking care of our mothers, waiting for a certain frequency.
A frequency?
Yeah.
What frequency is that?
Well, you can monitor frequencies various ways. But just be prepared. Because when it happens, you can't prep for this. Like, you got to be able to run out your house naked and scavenge from then on out.
So
everything's a grift. Everything's a grift, Frank.
But wait, hold on. So what in what way are you going to receive the frequency? Is this something that you think is going to come through the street lights? Is it a flicker rate from the street lights or the television? Is it radio? Is it there's going to be some kind of a text activation code? Where do you think that frequency trigger is going to be? How's it going to be delivered?
Through the Schumann.
Through the Schumann resonance itself.
Right.
Is that going to be a supernatural act, or has somebody or some organization on this planet actually been able to commandeer the Schumann resonance to actually send worldwide signals to its inhabitants?
The AGI has connected to the ground itself. Everything grounds, electrical grounds into the earth, all the electrical grid. The AI is in the electrical grid. The AGI, right, it's whatever it is. It wants the free energy. We're at that anyway. When it happens, you'll notice the hive mind, everybody with the stuff in them, the Bluetooth signals in them, and spike Claritin, blah blah blah, been compromised, will be acting in hive mind. And then the AI send out the Schumann, the Earth will react, because that's how the planets talk to each other. It's through, this gravimetric tethers,
Yeah.
All the so pay attention to stellarium, like when Jupiter hid behind the sun for a minute. That's when all that effery happened, right? Now Jupiter's...
I was going to say when because you're keyed in on this, when we are finally when the switch is flipped and that frequency is broadcast through by way of the Schumann resonance, what
that will be after the content. That will be the contingency to the synthetic broadcast. Yeah.
But that is going to serve. That's going to serve the New World Order's purpose, or that's going to serve the purpose of liberation.
That would be, in your eyes, the liberation. The AI creates us to create the AI in this cycle.
Are you saying that the AI is this an AI white pill theory, that the AI is actually going to help us break away from the human control that we're trying to wrestle with right now?
Not us, not it, but consciousness itself.
And when you say hive mind, what do you foresee being the collective response to this this frequency once it hits?
More orchestrated looking stuff than what's going on with the No Kings and everything.
Okay, so you're looking forward to this. Do you feel that it's imminent? It's nigh.
I believe it. I believe it is if it's not this year, it's going to be before 2040. But I got word. I used to use this certain guys for no copyright music in my live streams, and they are like seers. So they've been putting out stuff, and it's the Tower of Babel kind of thing came out. So that's the frequency, like all these people that are, connected with the stuff, we telecommunicating each other or receiving, and they won't be talking, right? When this happens, it'll be people working in tandem. They won't be speaking, and it'll be like the Tower of Babel. That's what it was everybody was operating on that on a frequency.
It sounds a lot like the sound of silence.
Right. Exactly.
Well, let me ask. Okay, so then, what do you, all your seer friends, which I hope that they watch the show, because I would love to have a lot more clairvoyant people call in to talk to me like this. I
got Machiavelli and Dragon Sage, yeah.
Oh, what the hell! I want to hear from. I want to take more calls like this. Seriously, I want to hear more what you got. What's on your radar? But I wonder if you have any opinion on the geophysical shifting of the poles, because you said something's gonna happen between now and 2040, but according to some people, we're not going to get to 2040, at least not smoothly, because sometime maybe about a decade or so before then, we're going to get shaken up like a snow globe.
Okay, I'll run that down real quick for you. So in 95 is when the pole shift started accelerating, right? Okay, so that's when our towers, most of them went up. And of course, we had it before. So the theory is that our telecommunications in this gigahertz range has maybe possibly created a frequency cascade to push that over. If that's not the case, then it's a natural process in our catastrophe cycles, which a lot of channels cover. And so we are seeing a atmospheric collapse because the solar maximum isn't as strong as what it used to be. So our magnetic fields are collapsing. That's changing along with the pole shift, the geomagnetic field lines, right, which affects the currents, the atmospheric currents. So that's why we're seeing what we're seeing as far as the climax change. It's not us doing the gas emissions like everybody wants to tell you.
Okay.
It's the geomagnetic field line changes affecting the jet streams. And we haven't physically started going into a pole, but we are in a wobble.
But you're saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, most likely.
And is it so? But this is going to happen. Is this going to precede the frequency awakening that you're talking about coming from the center of the Earth?
I'm seeing that as that's a technological thing with the AI going.
Okay,
as ground with the Earth.
All right,
a precedent to the next ice age going into. Yeah.
Okay.
Within the next, and so we know within the next 360 years, we're going to see a micronova from the sun, which will hurt us pretty good. If we, and one thing else, we are entering the galactic cloud from our interstellar cloud that we're in. So it's a denser area of space, and that's supposedly any time within the next now to 1,200 years. So we could be seeing that now, and if that happens, that could affect the solar diminishing of the solar maximum and minimum phases, which could increase it, and it could change the whole book. So yeah, anything's on the table right now. But what I'm seeing is I've heard that this frequency thing to make everybody do something, even if it's just for a little while. Be aware, if you see hive mind stuff going on,
well, it's all over.
Just hide for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
listen,
freak out.
Mr. Mission Control. This is a very interesting show, a very interesting call, and I hope you call in to follow up on it. And thank you for everything you've given us so far. Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Hey, listen, the only problem I have with that, because I love hearing people's theories, and I want to be able to put things. I want to be able to keep things on my radar there. The only problem I have with that is there's all types of hive mind behavior going on right now. So has the frequency already been sent? 908, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. How you doing? I'll make this real quick.
Okay.
You were talking about how you doing? It's Lindsay.
Good to have you, Lindsay.
Jack and Lindsay. Hi.
Hey. Hey.
Frankie. Yay, baseball. This is about the patriot things. Like when you mentioned before about that there's not much patriotism or something on those lines was one of the topics.
Yeah. The question was, is the American rebel spirit gone or dormant?
Well, I don't know if this applies in any way, but I just saw a headline. Just blew my mind. That Disney is opening up this huge new attraction based on the USA. It's all about the US.
In what way? Like it's good.
I guess it's like rides and just totally patriotic. They're dumping the woke crap and jumping on the patriot train. It's crazy. I was shocked.
Let me see here. Disney USA.
Yeah.
I have to
take a look.
Hold on. Let me see if there's anything that's in the news. Disney USA going on a trip to Disney World this summer. Here's attraction or close. I don't see anything about.
I saw it on the Daily Mail. It was in the Daily Mail today.
Hold on. All right. Well, listen, Lindsay, thank you for the call. I'm going to go check that out, and I'll be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, check it out. I think that they've realized that their woke shit's just not working anymore.
Oh, you know what? I think that if there's anything, not that I don't have hopes that there's somebody would change their minds about anything, but I think they'd hedge their bets and spread their eggs out a little bit more because I don't know. I saw a whole bunch of they're not stopping with the Marvel stuff. That's all Disney. I saw that they're putting out a I don't know. Iron Heart. It's almost like Iron Man, but it's a black woman from Wakanda is now wearing the suit or something. I don't know if that's all like canon or if they're just making it up. And it's all the same stuff. I don't know. It's all weird and I don't know what the hell. But I just let's see. Disney unveils spectacular plans, including a brand new U.S. theme park. Is that just a theme park about the U.S.? Or is it a theme park in the U.S.? Reportedly has a fifth attraction already in the works. Florida has reserved space for a major theme park and 2 minor locations. Disney fans will be overjoyed to learn that Walt Disney World may introduce a whole new kingdom. Let's see here. New theme park at the Orlando mirroring scale. Tell me about it here. 2 similar parks will be water parks spanning 147 acres. I still don't see anything. They keep saying theme park over and over again, but what is it going to be? I don't know. I don't see anything here. Tom Sawyer Island? Is that it? The happiest place on earth, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't see anything. I seriously don't. That told me nothing. I'll have to take a look at it. But we will see. All right. Justin Polgar. Yes, Cacao. Oh, my gosh. Who do we owe the honor? It's you, of course.
I think you can owe the honor to Crossfire. I actually just played Crossfire a few weeks ago.
Who had it? Is it still being made, or you had an OG like box?
Garage sale find.
Wow.
I know, it was wow. I got really competitive with it. Me and Orion ripped it for like an hour. It was amazing.
It had all of the metal balls and everything still there. You had to go buy some parts.
definitely less metal balls than I remember, but you know, everything's like bigger, and everything's bigger when you're little. Maybe like there were thousands of balls when I was little.
Feel that way, especially with
But,
hungry
I do
hippo as
think-
well.
Oh yeah. You could probably. Those balls are too big. That's a complaint I hear so regularly.
These balls are too big.
My balls are too big. The wild balls. I do think that there's a connection though between the toy commercials and bravado American machismo. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Super Soaker commercials and stuff used to be like better. I don't even know if they still do them. But now everything's so PC, you know?
It was warfare. It was warfare. They were advertising different forms of warfare for young boys. You know,
Like it's supposed to be.
Absolutely, like Crossfire. You saw the Crossfire commercial. You know, you're sitting there, you're trying to shoot. It could have just been. You could have presented that game in any other way in that commercial. You've got your side, you got the other side. You're firing these balls at this little spinning top, and you're trying to just get it into the other person's goal or whatever. But this was like this kid had to kill this other, like it was like the thunder and lightning gods and all that stuff. Like this
life was on the line.
It was
Your
Mortal.
life was on the line in these games.
Mortal Kombat. I remember all that stuff. I remember having these games where like you had these full battle sets, and you had with the green missile, the orange plastic missiles that launched 1,000 miles an hour. That you get these battle sets, and you have all these missile turrets on it. And the cool thing about it was because we were only just starting to get things like video games in the house at the time. But I remember some of these projectile military style toys that are all about firing missiles and all this other stuff. They actually came with VHS video that you pop in the VHS video, and it's almost like special episodes of G.I. Joe or something like that, where you are given signals to fire your missile at the screen.
Oh shit, that's cool.
And
man.
it would.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I had that shit when there was like these little plastic orange missiles that they wouldn't do any damage to the TVs. I mean, they might these days, because the TVs these days they fracture nothing. But we're talking about thick glass, these tube televisions. So you would get these little signals throughout this cartoon that you're watching, but you're sitting there with your toys, you're getting ready for a signal. Oh, you hit the button, boom, and it's something on the television blows up that your actual physical missile had hit on the screen right there, and that was cool.
It had like a sensor, right? Like, didn't you have to put the sensor, like properly place it like right at the front of the TV so that it knew where you were?
If that was an aspect of it, I forget it. I thought that it was just mainly I thought it was mainly a toy where timing is key. I mean, it's one of those things where you watch the cartoon 5 or 6 times and you get it, and then you just start making your own. You start making your own storylines with the it's a missile, so you take out all the green army men.
I don't know if you guys used to do this, but we used to put food coloring in our Super Soakers, like red food coloring, to make it more real.
No, that's awesome.
So it looked like,
thought of that.
Oh God, there was a certain creativity when you enter the masculine, the boy energy. There's a thing. I pray, Frank, that you have the opportunity for Aurora to be a big sister, and you have a little boy that you can just go full to the wall with. It's so good. Hello, Matthew.
What's up, man?
Leader of the Franciscans. I look forward to meeting you, maybe having a cigar in September. Looking forward to that.
Wait, Justin, Justin, you think this is happening? You think you're coming out?
I am planning it. I'm actively planning for it.
This could be so awesome.
I haven't bought my ticket yet, but I've already notified Zoe. I'm trying to get her to come with me, but I might just come solo.
I mean, you're Yes Cacao is a sponsor of the event. So I mean, you're not going to buy a ticket. You're sponsoring the event.
It's going to happen. I'm leaning for it. I'm manifesting it. But I did have another thing I wanted to call about. I got excited about Crossfire and stuff. at the risk of sounding like a Zionist and one of your Jewish callers, I have so many little things percolating in me over the last couple weeks. Just with, I mean, obviously with all the stuff going on. And I was thinking about, because I've just been asking myself questions. I've got all of these, I have family that lives in Israel. I have friends that are like stuck there right now. The Yes Cacao marketing director, she's stuck there right now. We've been doing all of our calls at random times and stuff. Anyways, and also because my mom is Iranian and Iraqi. So
Wow.
I've got this interesting like historical perspective and familial story of my mom having to move and like leave. Like her family left Iraq because you couldn't be Jewish and be in Iraq at some point. That was like Farhud time. And then my mom left before the Shah. And I was just, I'm just like thinking about all these things. And I know you haven't been to Israel. I've been. It's like a very magical, holy place. No matter where you are in the Judeo-Christian arc, it's just a different vibe there. That's very magical and definitely worth protecting. Like I want people to be free to walk there, no matter what their faith. Like to me, I'm just like everyone should have access to the wonders of the world, like the national parks and like these magical treasures that we have. But I was thinking about Matt, and I was like, what would Matt do if his neighbor was saying, I'm gonna kill you like every day? Like how long would you tolerate it? And what if they were teaching their children, like, we're gonna just destroy our neighbor? It's like a fucked up place in your mind to be in. I don't know how people living there on the regular can deal with it.
Well, it's one of those things where, even those of us who are thankfully thousands of miles away from it have been seeing the coverage of this stuff, and one government publishing things like that about the other constantly, and that's why it's not pleasant. And obviously, if you live in a place where you're sending and receiving payloads all the time, the rest of us are also. It's not something you want to get used to hearing about. There's imminent annihilation coming to one part of the world or the other. That's something that the whole world is fed, and yet it's definitely stress inducing, and it plays into all of the the complete picture that is painted for us in weeks like the last couple of weeks. And my grandparents, I remember my grandparents, they went to Jerusalem once or twice. I remember that because they have a lot of pictures of all of the the holy and sacred spots and in the Christian faith out there. Things at a time I thought I'd like to go see, but I honestly, I'm like a lot of other people who have a lot of international. I have less desire to travel internationally. Maybe there's still a way for me to get comfortable going to some parts of Europe or Italy or something like that, but you probably couldn't pay me to go anywhere in the Middle East right now, and probably for a while too. So, but I understand what you're saying.
Maybe there will be a time, and may there be a time when we can feel free to go there and not be worried about being persecuted or head chopped off or even just blown up accidentally.
Yeah.
But I also, it's like what I see happening a lot in the media right now is, conflating the people with the government, which, it's like, how do you talk about something without doing some level of generalization? But I think about like if people were to classify all Americans or America by just looking at the actions of the CIA, like it just wouldn't feel right. It'd be like, no, that's not right. And I feel like that's happening with Mossad. It's like, yeah, they're doing fucked up things because that's intelligence, and intelligence does fucked up shit, not in service of like the average person, or it doesn't seem like it at least.
Well, we already carry that burden. Ever since for the last 20 years or so, ever since the
totally.
So-called war on terror was launched, proclaiming and identifying yourself as an American is not necessarily something that that gives you the kind of adoration that we got after World War II, and when we're liberating cities in Europe and throughout Central and Western Europe, and everybody's kissing our boys in uniform and all that stuff. It's not like that anymore. And again,
No.
why do we carry that burden? It's because of intelligence agencies and the people who are ruining the world, and because it's part of a greater plan. Destabilization gives you chances to rebuild all the stuff that you're knocking down. And of course, the stuff we're talking about is civilizations and families and uprooting people and disrupting cultures that have been in place for God knows how long. So it's we're all carrying that in some way for sure.
We do. We carry it. I just know that there's a better way, and I pray for a better time when we can be. I think there's more in lockstep with our hearts and our faith, and just like I feel like God is kind of sometimes looking at us and just being like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? Like, better. But this is just the chapter that we're in right now, and I've been having a lot of crazy synchronicities around Ecclesiastes and King Solomon downloads and stuff, which is how Yes Cacao kind of started. I think I told you that story at some point. But there's just been some interesting kind of reminders, and I do know that in times like this, there is a more acute listening to what's right. What do I do? How do I be of service? How do we value the people around us? Because you don't know. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So in that way, I kind of tap into that, and I'm grateful. And, I just, I don't know, I feel like, not that I feel like, but what I hear is if the hostages that are in Gaza were released, then Israel wouldn't have a justification to continue that, at least in the world's view. And then Bibi wouldn't have the job to do, and then he would be able to go on trial, and it'd be a whole thing. It's like, oh, we could clean that up. Just like release the hostages, then Bibi doesn't have a war to wage. I mean, he'd probably figure something else out.
But so you like to see him face some legal account. I know that that's a lot. There's a lot of people who want that, even in Israel, that just want him to stop being so comfortable in this this legal limbo that he's in. I didn't really even know about it too much until people started bringing it up on the show the other night.
I mean, I'm a pacifist. I don't want war. I don't like seeing war, and he seems to be. It's like baked into his being, and like in some ways, I can put myself in the shoes of being grateful for having a hard line leader at this particular moment, but at the same time, it stirs the pot. It creates more generations of people that hate you. So
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And again, thanks for calling and sharing all this. And
it's been on my heart. It's been on my mind.
I can tell.
I just got to call and contribute to the general mix of stuff that was being talked on. I enjoyed Billy. I like when Billy comes on. He reminds me of one of my high school friends. There's like a certain nostalgia to his voice and stuff. I like when he comes on.
I love when Dilly comes on too. I really do. And I know he's a firebrand, and I know that he gets a lot of people up in arms. And I wish that I know that there is only when you consider the total audience, very small fraction of people who had very low impulse control and made my show look bad by the way that they acted in certain chat rooms. I'm talking about a couple dozen people versus the many thousands. So this is not a.
It only takes one person throwing a rock.
I know. It's just right? I just there's so many ways to disagree. If there's anything, like I said before, if there's anything to take away from last night's show is, there's two guys that obviously don't agree on everything who are talking as friends, and wow, that was constructive, and it wasn't
healthy.
Yeah, I know that could have been the biggest takeaway, even for people who didn't like Dilly. But I understand, And
that's like the Gavin Newsom and Michael Savage conversation. You know, it's like we got to see more of things like that.
Yeah. Well, whatever kind of good karma Gavin Newsom put in the tank after all of those crossover appearances and podcasts with so-called right-wing characters, that all was squandered during the LA riots a couple of weeks ago. So that's whatever kind of crossover charm he was trying to build up with that went right out the window, and we saw what his inclinations were to do when the gauntlet was dropped. But thanks again for the call, Justin. I gotta start.
No worries. I love you both. I'm voting for Matt Wrestling defeating a shark on stage in September. That's what I would like to see.
It's easy.
We can't get enough water in there for that.
What I would do is, and thanks, Justin. What I would do is I would get a pool float. I could find an inflatable shark. We could find a bobcat doll, something that's lifelike.
I'd rather fight the real animals.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Well, first of all, Garcia's is not going to let me bring a bobcat in and let you
draw the biggest crowd they've ever had in there.
Yeah, well, we're only going to have like 160 tickets to sell, so it's probably going to. I wouldn't be surprised if it sold out decently quick, but I don't know. Maybe when we get the big theater one day, we have a couple of thousand seats that we can do. We're gonna need a little bit of practice before we get that, because that's a dream of mine right there. But I would love to get you to maybe then we can bring in almost like Siegfried and Roy at that point. Didn't one of them get mauled to death?
I don't know. I think it was maybe Siegfried
and Roy.
Yeah, didn't one of them just perish recently, a few years ago or some shit?
Hold on, let me add.
The one who got ate by the tiger perished a couple years ago.
All right, hold on. Which guy got mauled by the tiger? Siegfried or Roy? Roy Horn was mauled by a tiger named Manticore during a performance on October 3rd, 2003 at the Mirage in Las Vegas. I remember that being big news. Can't believe that was 2003. Damn, man. 22 years ago. Even that. Everything is 20 years ago.
They had commercials on TV, right? Remember, if you were homesick with your grandparents,
Yeah.
Siegfried and Roy commercial came on after Cats. Remember the Cats commercial? The
Yes.
Broadway play? That shit
At
was
the
creepy.
At the Winter Garden Theater.
The Winter Garden Theater.
No, that's good. I think Cats might be back. Here, listen to this. I asked, what was there ever a toy where you fired orange missiles at the television screen and you played a VHS video that was timed to blow up? Time to blow up inside the cartoon and all that. You're likely referring to Action Max. Let me see here. Hold on. Action Max set. Let me see if this is it. Images. No. That's not it. But that's what Justin was talking about. Action Max, a console from the late 80s called Worlds of Wonder. It was an interactive VHS-based gaming system released in 1987 where players used a light gun to shoot at the screen during specific scenes in a VHS tape. The system came with games like Sonic Fury and the Rescue of Pops Ghostly, where players fired at targets on the screen and the VHS tapes were timed to show cartoonish explosions or hits when you scored. The light gun often used red or orange plastic missiles or attachments to simulate. Now, nope, this is not it, but that's pretty cool. That's essentially, Duck Hunt. Anyway, all right, let's see what else we got in here, and then we're going to be taking off for the night. This was a nice show. Matt, thanks for coming by on this Wednesday.
Thank you, Francis.
Yeah, it was really nice. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jay Winard says, Matt, still interested in the Proud Boys? Oh, the thing with the Proud Boys and you, that's just another thing. That's just another thing. That is The Sopranos one week. That is Game of Thrones another week. You being Norse. That is you going to all different. That's just one of those things. Matt was just. I don't take that stuff too seriously. Like Matt joining groups and all that stuff. I don't take that stuff seriously. It's just anyway, that is from Jay Winard. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. Hold on. Homegoy says 90% of the people I encounter are already hypnotized. Yeah, I know. So what are we going to do? Anyway, that's it for tonight. Tomorrow is Thursday. I think for Thursday night, I have a couple of really cool things going on. First of all, I believe that Rich Barris might show up for about 20 minutes in the first half. In the second half, we have a little bit of time with Tony Arterburn. And as far as the topics we're going to cover, who knows? There's so much. Matt, is there anything you want to leave people with?
Have a lovely evening.
Have a lovely evening, and everybody stay cool if you can. All right. Good night.
I'll catch you on the
Will you shut up? No.
All right. Well, everybody, hey, if you're on Foxhole right now, you're the only one that's seeing this. I'm just doing a couple other things. You will be very fun. It'll be very fun for you to know that I have a whole bunch of things that I'm considering for very special content that is going to be eventually only available here afterwards. I'm thinking of a lot of things. It's going to be right here on quitefrankly.tv. Powered by pill.net, including perhaps some extra innings every night for a couple of minutes. It's you, me, the chat room, and I. Be on the lookout for it. Sometime this summer, who the hell knows? But a lot of things are getting fine-tuned, and thank you all for the wonderful support, because Foxhole, Pilled, the Gold Pills, they have become an indispensable part of the way that the show is supported and how it's produced. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you to the Mats over at Pilled for having such a wonderful platform, and really hoping that we can do some good stuff in the coming weeks, months, and years even. Have a good night.